Faction of Labour Party led by Julius Abure suspends Governor of Abia State Alex Otti and Senator Ireti Kingibe indefinitely. United States National Transportation Safety Board concludes investigation into helicopter crash that claims the lives of Herbert Wigwe, his wife, and their son last year. On the foreign scene, tensions between India and Pakistan escalate following Indian airstrikes in Pakistani territory. Good evening. This is news at 7 on Western Spring Television. I am Timitope Ajijolaoluwaola. The Senate has passed 2 out of 4 major tax reform bills, marking a significant milestone in the ongoing overhaul of the nation's tax administration framework. The 2 bills, one seeking to repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act and another to establish the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill 2025, along with the Nigeria Revenue Service Bill 2025, were passed following a close-by-close consideration during a committee of the whole and the subsequent third reading on the Senate floor. President Bola Tinubu had in October 2024 transmitted the 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly for consideration and passage. However, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio commended the progress, expressing optimism that the reform bills would not only enhance governance, but also revolutionize tax collection and distribution across the country. He further assured that the remaining 2 bills would be finalized on Thursday, even if it required extended sitting hours. Now to politics. A faction of the Labour Party, led by Julius Abure, has suspended the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, and senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, Ireti Kingibe, indefinitely. The suspension was announced in a statement released by Labour Party National Secretary Umar Ibrahim on Wednesday. Other members who were suspended are Darlington Nwokocha, Victor Afamugene, Amobi Oga, and Sheyi Showumi. On May 2nd, the Abure-led faction inaugurated a 5-member disciplinary committee headed by Ayo Olorunfemi, the party's deputy national chairman, to investigate some members of their alleged anti-party activities. Announcing the report of the disciplinary committee, Farouk said the national executive verified the recommendation of the panel. The Labour Party scribe said the suspended members will no longer act for and on behalf of the party. Meanwhile, chairman of the Labour Party Caretaker Committee, Ninadi Usman, has launched a probe into Julius Abure over allegations of corruption, misappropriation of party funds, and anti-party activities. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, Usman accused Abure of persistently parading himself as national chairman of the party, despite being removed. She said Abure was running the party like a personal enterprise to pursue selfish ambitions and alleged that he used his position to enrich himself rather than promote unity. To address the allegations, Usman noted that the party has set up a disciplinary panel chaired by Senator Ireti Kingibe, with Peter Ame as secretary. Usman said the panel will investigate Abure over corruption, misappropriation of party funds, and anti-party activities.
It has become evident that Mr. Abure does not have the best interests of the Labour Party at heart. Rather than unify the party, he undermines it. Rather than attract credible Nigerians to come and join, he alienates them. Instead of advancing our collective vision, he pursues narrow personal ambitions. Most painfully, he targets those who have brought credibility and national visibility to our party. His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Alex Otti. They represent the aspirations of a new Nigeria. Governor Otti stands out today as one of the most effective and respected governors in the country. These men have sacrificed not for personal gain, but to give the Labour Party and Nigeria a real shot at transformation. What they demand is simple: a party that is transparent, democratic, and accountable. Instead of embracing this vision, Mr. Abure chooses confrontation and chaos. We say today, this must stop. Yes. For the sake of the Labour Party, for the sake of democracy, and for the sake of Nigeria's future. Yes. After a careful and comprehensive review of the Supreme Court judgment delivered on Friday, April 12, 2025, the National Executive Council, NEC, is deeply concerned by the subsequent actions of Barrister Julius Abure, particularly his continued impersonation of the esteemed office of the National Chairman of the Labour Party. These actions have not only violated the spirit and letter of the law, but have also brought the image and integrity of our great party into disrepute. In the exercise of its constitutional mandate and in strict accordance with the disciplinary provisions of the Labour Party Constitution 2019 as amended, the NEC in session hereby announces the commencement of disciplinary actions against Mr. Abure. These actions have started with the constitution of a special investigative committee to review the actions of Mr. Abure as it affects the image and integrity of the party.
In a similar development, the senator representing Kano South Senatorial District under the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party and NPP, Kawu Sumaila, has defected from the party to the All Progressives Congress, APC. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read the letter of the lawmakers' defection at plenary on Wednesday. According to Sumaila, in his letter, his decision to leave the NNPP is anchored on compelling and undeniable developments within the party, which have rendered the party severely divided and dysfunctional. The lawmaker added that a further manifestation of the division was the existence of multiple factions, each with its own distinct party logo. This, he noted, underscored the depth of the division and reflected a clear and public splintering on the party's identity in both form and substance. As the party was divided in form and substance, earlier yesterday, 6 members of the House of Representatives from Delta State defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the APC. Similarly, the Labour Party legislators also moved to the PDP. Following the defection of the Edo State House of Assembly Speaker, Blessing Agbebaku, and other People's Democratic Party members to the All Progressives Congress on Tuesday, the member representing Oredo East constituency, Frank Omosiho, has reaffirmed his loyalty to PDP. In a statement released in Benin on Wednesday, Omosiho said he remained an unwavering member of the PDP. He said despite speculations linking him and others to the faction, it is important to clarify that he was absent from the venue where the speakers and others pledged allegiance to the APC. With the Tuesday defection, the PDP in Edo State has lost the majority of seats, with only 6 members still remaining out of 14 that won the election on the platform in 2023. Staying with politics, former President Goodluck Jonathan on Wednesday warned against the creation of a one-party state, saying any nation that must practice it must do so carefully and with a well-planned process and projected outcome. He stated this in Abuja while paying tribute to the late elder statesman Edwin Clark at a memorial lecture and day of tribute. Jonathan warns that any attempt to bring about a one-party state through political machinations to soothe only personal aspirations will be detrimental to the country. The former president also called on the family of the late former federal commissioner to, among other things, set up a yearly memorial lecture in his honor to continue to push his ideas and what he stood for, which is a united, equitable, and prosperous Nigeria. On his part, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, lamented that the labor of our heroes past was already in vain. The former Anambra State governor highlighted the endemic poverty in rural areas, the state of insecurity, and the rising cost of living.
I listened to my brother Mike when he talked about may the labor of our heroes past not be in vain. I'm sorry, I'm happy that one is here, and I'm happy that Jonathan is here. But I can tell you, their sacrifice is in vain. They've sacrificed for nothing. When in this country, when people were protesting, when there was no need to protest under Jonathan, where are those protesters? Have they died? Where are they? So why are we saying it should not be in vain? Then it gives fuel from 8 to 7 naira to 120 and people were protesting in this country. And when it was 900, they were not protesting. Are they dead? So why are we saying it should not be in vain? People protested when naira was 180 and when it was 1,500, they were not protesting. Are they dead? So let's not say it should not be in vain. I spoke a few days ago and people said I'm marketing Nigeria. When it's true to be the marketer, World Bank has just shown that 75% of Nigerians in rural areas are poor. Is World Bank marketing Nigeria? UNICEF 2 days ago released that Nigeria now have over 2 million malnourished children, the second highest in the world. Are they the marketing Nigeria? Let's face the reality. Their labor is in vain. We have a country now that is not democratic. We are not a democratic country. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Is the election that happened in Edo, is it democratic? Just the last election in Edo is the most democratic election. Everybody knows who won that election. So why are we keeping it and saying, let the work not in vain? It is in vain. So we can start picking the pieces now, because they've destroyed everything people have sacrificed for. Look at what is happening in Nigeria today. Above all, Jarabawan sacrificed everything. The country people sacrifice has turned into a crime scene. All we do today is stealing.
Moving on, the chairman of the Bariga Local Council Development Area of Lagos State, Kolade Alabi, slumped at a meeting of the All Progressives Congress APC stakeholders in Lagos on Wednesday afternoon, causing panic and disrupting the event. Alabi, also the chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGAN, slumped at approximately 12:10 p.m. after addressing the gathering at the APC Secretariat on Acme Road in Ikeja. Amid scenes of panic, several stakeholders rushed to his aid and helped to revive him. He was then rushed to the hospital for further medical attention. The incident halted the meeting convened ahead of the upcoming local government elections to be held on July 12 across the state. Now to education. The recent release of the breakdown of results of the recently concluded UTME by the Joint Admission Matriculation Board (JAMB) has generated concerns among students, parents, and education leaders alike. According to the breakdown, out of about 1.9 million candidates that sat for the examination, over 1.5 million scored below the 200 mark. In this report, Lydia Adegwaju looked at some of the problems from the student, parent, and other stakeholders' perspectives.
What used to be a thing of pride for parents and students alike is gradually becoming a prayer point in Nigeria. Hitting the 300 mark in the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, used to be the goal, but recently, it seems that goalpost has shifted, going by the recently released breakdown of the 2025 UTME results by JAMB. According to the breakdown, about 78.5% scored below the 200 mark, representing over 1.53 million candidates. Meanwhile, a total of 1,955,069 candidates sat for the exam in what has been regarded as an abysmal rate. Many reasons have been highlighted for this drop. For Mrs. Bola Olumide Ajayi, a parent, she strongly condemned fellow parents who permit their wards to use phones at such a young age, which she said is now distracting them from more important things.
There is no way it will not be low. As long as they are using this before leaving the secondary school, there is no way. Give them this and you give them failure before leaving the secondary school. if you want to really help them, if they give them assignments, if they give them anything to do, let them do it on your laptop, or your desktop. But the moment they are using this, if they tell you they are reading, that's a lie. Just tiptoe like this and check what they are doing. You must have seen them on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, or wherever. But the moment they don't use this before leaving the secondary school, you will see the results. You can't compare the results we are having in our time with the results we are having now. Parents, let them use your laptop and your desktop. The moment you give them this and you don't monitor them, forget. This will continue.
However, other schools of thought say system failure during the examination is a large contributor to the failure in the exam. Virtuous Adedeji, who sat for the just concluded UTME, lamented how students like herself were delayed and made to wait under the sun for the center to be ready. She also complained bitterly about how computer systems shut down midway into the examination, marking an end of paper for the candidates in question.
I'm sure it was 1 o'clock already, if not past 1. People were so tired, and all of us standing under the sun till we were allowed to enter inside. When I went there, I was seeing a lot of older people who were also writing the exam, and it's now they want to write the exam. So they have left school already. Some of them do attend lessons. Like me, myself, this year, I didn't attend lessons. But most of them didn't attend those lessons. So their brain is no longer refreshed of what they learned. A lot of people who are smart enough to enter school, and they are ready, willing to enter school. And they get there, and people's opportunities are taken from them, not their fault. If a system shuts down, they tell you your exam has ended like that. I myself was feeling for a girl who started and her system shut off. And they're telling us we shouldn't move our leg too forward. If not, that's what will make the laptop. And I was like, wow, it's only my country we can do this kind of thing.
Meanwhile, contrary to complaints, the president of All Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools, ANCAPS, Osun Chapter, Mrs. Eniola Awoyemi, excused the quality of education as part of the problem, but rather distractions on the part of the students. She added that parents are also failing in the responsibility of providing necessary learning materials.
Many of our students are no longer as studious as before. In fact, it has gotten to a time now that we create reading time in the school timetable. And most parents are not really helping some of those children by giving them necessary things they needed to study very well. But at the school system, we are trying our best, like buying textbook for teachers who will now form notes for the children using the recommended textbook based on what the school had provided. Many of our students come to school without any textbook, and they needed such to develop themselves better than mere classroom teaching. Usage on phone to chat, to be on TikTok, to watch movies. Many of these children are wasting their time by doing such. It's not the quality that is really coming down. It is the partakers, I mean the students, who have to be rated that are no longer as focused as before.
On his part, the Commissioner for Education, Dipo Eluwole, believes with collaborative efforts on the part of students, parents, and teachers, success can be achieved.
There's nothing impossible. In as much we didn't rest on our horse, we are still putting more effort. And I'm sure students are putting more effort. They are going to perform wonderfully well.
In the meantime, all stakeholders have been called to be more proactive in their responsibilities in boosting the educational lives of Nigerian students who have been tagged as the future of tomorrow, while the students are urged to rid their minds of the belief that education is a scam. Lydia Adegbaju, Western Spring Television News.
The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, says 24 federal institutions have been powered by solar energy under the Energizing Education project of President Bola Tinubu's administration. Alausa had disclosed this on Wednesday in Abuja at the collaboration agreement signing ceremony for the vice-chancellors of beneficiary institutions, added that 8 more universities have signed collaboration agreements to join the fourth phase of the project. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that before the signing ceremony, the minister undertook an inspection tour of the solar parts facility at the University of Abuja, now Yakubu Gowon University. Alausa, who describes the project as a new day for Nigeria, hails the transformative initiative under Tinubu aimed at providing uninterrupted power supply to Nigeria's federal tertiary institutions. He said the projects had wide-reaching benefits for education and the economy. According to him, the University of Abuja, which now boasts a solar farm comprising 6,000 photovoltaic panels, is generating approximately 3.3 megawatts of electricity daily, enough to power the campus round the clock. On the token security, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, has reacted to claims by the House of Representatives that terrorists carrying out attacks in the country possess superior weaponry compared to the Nigerian armed forces. Speaking during a ministerial briefing in Abuja on Wednesday, the minister described such claims as absolutely not true, insisting that the military was better equipped, both in terms of arms and technology. He explains that the nature of terrorism in the country is not a conventional war, but rather guerrilla warfare, which requires different tactical approaches. Abubakar's comments came in response to the House of Representatives' concerns raised on Tuesday over the resurgence of terrorist attacks, particularly in the northeast. The lawmakers had cited a deadly ambush on a military facility in Gawa, Borno State, as evidence that insurgents might be more heavily armed than government troops. They expressed worry over the increasing threat posed by Boko Haram and ISWAP, especially in Borno and Yobe states. An army captain and a soldier have been killed by Boko Haram terrorists in a midnight attack on Igze community in Guza, local government area of Borno State. According to the Emir of Guza, Muhammad Timta, the attack happened around 1 a.m. on Wednesday when the terrorists infiltrated the farming community, shooting sporadically before the personnel of the Nigerian armed forces with the assistance of local hunters, vigilantes, and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force repelled the terrorists, killing 3 of them while recovering items from the fleeing terrorists. Several motorcycles, bicycles, an operational vehicle, and a sophisticated rifle, all belonging to the terrorists, were recovered. The traditional ruler commanded the military men of the Civilian Joint Task Force, local hunters, vigilantes, and the resilient community of Igze for their collaborative efforts and repelling the attack while praying for the repose of the souls of the departed military personnel and their family during this irreparable loss. They also called an urgent step by the federal government to address the renewed attacks as people prepare for this year's farming season. The United States National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, has concluded its investigation into the helicopter crash that claimed the lives of Herbert Wigwe, his wife, and their son last year. According to the final aviation investigation report, the NTSB determines that the probable cause of the crash was the pilot's decision to continue flying on the visual flight routes into instrument meteorological conditions. The decision, the report stated, led to the special disorientation and the subsequent loss of control by the pilot. The report, which is coming every year after the incident, the NTSB also cited inadequate company oversight as a contributing factor. It said the company failed to properly manage safety procedures, including ensuring that pilots were accurately completing and updating flight risk analysis, logging maintenance discrepancies, and verifying that the helicopter met Part 135 regulatory requirements before departure. On February 9, 2024, Herbert Wigwe, former Group Chief Executive Officer of Access Holding PLC, died in a helicopter crash alongside his wife, Dory, their first son, Chize, and Abimbola Ogunbanjo, former Group Chairman of the Nigerian Exchange Group PLC. An 18-year-old apprentice has allegedly impregnated 10 girls in just 5 months, including his master's daughter and a sales girl in Anambra State, According to reports, the teenager was first sent to learn a trade under a master, but within 3 months, he got both his boss's daughter and the sales girl pregnant. This, however, led to his dismissal from the apprenticeship. The State Commissioner for Women and Social Welfare, Ife Obinabo, discussed this in a live video on social media on Wednesday. Obinabo said the situation got worse after he returned to his village, adding that the boy's brother came to her office to report the issue. Obinabo said the matter is beyond her, noting that she wants the public to help her with a solution. The commissioner said she asked the boy how he was able to convince the girls, while the boy stated that he professed his love to the victims and promised them marriage when he acquires wealth. You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come, House of Representatives asks federal government to subsidize cancer medications and treatments. We will bring you more on this when we return. Stay with us.
Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1909. Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution. The Western region under his administration paraded several enviable records. First television station in Africa, first real estate in Nigeria, first high-rise building in Nigeria, first modern sports stadium in Nigeria, first agricultural settlement in Nigeria, first modern civil service secretariat in Nigeria, and first industrial estate in Nigeria. His face is on 100 Naira denomination as a mark of honor for his distinguished services to his country. Western Spring Television identifies Obafemi Awolowo as a major character in history.
Our comedy is winning fans globally, but we are losing our wildlife to illegal bushmeat, and this is not funny at all. If we continue this way, we will risk losing all our animals and leaving nothing behind for the generations to come. Tell your family and friends not to buy or sell illegal bushmeat, because protecting nature protects us all.
Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held aloft the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkele was a natively corrupted version of peculiar mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television